untenable. That was the word told to me by a senior source inside Britain's leading commercial TV channel. And it's all about this particular woman who's held a career there for well over 30 years now. We're talking, of course, about Lorraine Kelly, but the true story behind exactly how that axe swung on, some people might say, an illustrious career, meaning that she's now down to 30 minutes for simply 30 weeks a year, with a massive pay cut looming also. Well, it's fascinating in itself. As ever, let me explain. Morning, chums, nice to see you. You all right today? I'm not so bad, thank you. And as ever, thank you so much for joining me. Welcome one and all brand new subscribers. Nice to see you. I hope you're keeping well. Do let others know about yourself, and if you see a conversation that you want to get involved with, do. And thank you also for loving the flowers. I'm glad I explained why I like the flowers. You see, people say, but I just see them, and even wildflowers can look lovely, can't they? It's sometimes the wildflowers, I don't know if you agree, they're actually better than some of the more traditional. And you think, wow, you know, what is the purpose of those flowers? Yeah, I'm a rubbish gardener, I can share that with you, but I do like looking at nice cultivated gardens. I think that's the beauty as well of living in London. You have all these beautiful royal parks that are expertly looked after, but you do kind of think, I wouldn't want to do all of this. That's it. Have you got a big garden? Have you? Yes, you're showing off, you see. You've got a pool. Well, I have if it rains a bit and there's a bit of a puddle in the backyard, but there you go. I'm not boasting, that's the thing. But you know what I mean? It's like you go to somebody's house. Have you ever done that? I went to somebody's recently, and they say, oh, do sit out in the garden. You think, wow, this is a big garden, And when they say, we'll come and visit you, please don't. Do you have that? Let's get back to your story of the day. Now, this is interesting. It's a terrible week over at ITV when they've decided to axe many people, all really, whichever way you look at it, for their wokerati. They have literally peddled absolute rubbish for years upon years, and the audience have had enough. And the true story about this is, to just put it into very simple layman terms, is this. If the audience like you, they will watch you. I'm very much aware of that, right? And, I know what stories you like and I know what stories you don't, but, we have to cover everything. Over on a channel like ITV, it's driven by commerciability, you see. And the thing is, the ad revenues, the people basically dictate. I know, for instance, a major leading supermarket was actually sat in a commissioning sort of meeting because they will be backing that program. So once a supermarket dictates exactly whether they're willing to do it or not, well, you're kind of stuffed really, aren't you? You know what I mean? This is the problem with Lorraine Kelly. Ratings have been going down years and years, but she's billed as a national treasure, and I'm sure many people do enjoy the program. But it's a formula that seems very tired and dated. When you think you could pick an episode out from the 90s and think, I've seen this before. Every year there's a makeover, the money-saving stuff, all by a woman who now claims to be an actress in a person playing a part of Lorraine Kelly. So she's not exactly being trustworthy, is she? Once you say you're an actress, do you truly believe that they're actually doing this stuff? You get the picture. But it was this, according to a source at ITV, that kindly made people think, well, just a minute. And this was a thing that started on social media. Where's Lorraine? And it basically detailed the fact that each and every time she had a day off, whether it be for, just a missing day, a holiday, children's holidays. Remember, she still took off the children's holidays, even though her child Rosie was, well, a mother herself now, right? And that became something of a joke. Lorraine was pushed about this recently in an interview, said, oh, it doesn't bother me, I'm not bothered. It bothered, allegedly, the ITV bosses because they knew that this was gaining momentum. This is the power of social media. And once they looked at that and they were, now the person behind this, again, basically said they would stop if they felt that it was being cruel or unkind. But of course, it gained such a following. Every day people would check in, where is Lorraine? And of course, you've got a program titled Lorraine, and it's been presented by standing presenters like the very brilliant, in my opinion, Christine Lampard, a great presenter, very warm and very nice to watch because she allows the guest to have that moment, The same could not always be said of Lorraine, or indeed the other counterparts. And according to a source, that was the end. they decided, well, just a minute, if we're now being ridiculed on social media, and of course driven by the cost-cutting drives that ITV now have to implicate just to survive, they're saying they're going to put this more into drama and streaming efforts. But basically, they know that having this type of show that is so dated, and it's not the only one, Loose Women are going to get it, this morning, everybody's on tenterhooks. So much so that this man, Ben Shepherd, 50, has had to strip off for Men's Health just to remind, well, the audience that he's still hot and honky, and more importantly, his bosses at ITV that, well, don't fire me because look, I look great. Sadly for Lorraine, she's over 60, been on air now for 35 years, and some might say could be due a refresh. 30 minutes for 30 weeks a year, some people say you should be grateful for. Apparently, insiders tell me she's not. Either way, things are radically changing over at ITV. Neil Sean, Kensington, London.